Hello everyone, I'm Yusnita, EL LT from West Grove Primary School. With me today, we have Nora, EL ST from Unity Primary, and Mala, EL LT from Princess Elizabeth Primary School. The three of us belong to the West Zone NLC, and we're happy today to have this opportunity to share with you our insights into the inquiries we embarked on as a zonal NLC. Maybe I'll give you some context. The West Zone EL NLC was formed in 2019, 3 years ago, with the view to grow West Zone leaders' competencies in guiding and mentoring West Zone EL teachers, as well as to improve EL teaching and learning practices in West Zone. So back then in 2019, Principal Master Teacher Dr. Tay Mei Yin provided a frame comprising 4 steps. You're looking at the first step now. And this frame comprising 4 steps help to guide us in this endeavor. The first step, diagnose EL teachers' needs based on students' needs. Second, inquire into pedagogical solutions to address these needs. Third, organize professional learning opportunities based on the identified needs, and finally, evaluate and review the professional learning organized. So armed with this 4-step guide to how the zonal NLC could go about improving EL teaching and learning practices in our zone, we then contacted EL HODs in West Zone to gather data from their EL department teachers about the area of language learning, or AOLL, and the components of language that their lower primary students found to be particularly challenging. So you might be wondering why we focus on the lower primary students. The main reason was that the EL syllabus was to be rolled out in 2020. And back then in 2019, many teachers were already voicing their concerns about the challenges that their lower primary students would face with the ELS 2020. So to diagnose EL teachers' needs based on students' needs, we carried out this survey so that the HODs, together with their team of EL level head, subject head, teacher leaders, and P1 and P2 EL teachers could collectively identify in each AOLL the components of language that especially the P1 and P2 students found to be especially challenging. And so when the survey results were collated, we found that speaking and representing and listening and viewing were areas of concern. The specific components of language which were challenging, if you look at that slide, for students was speaking and representing to fulfill different purposes, and listening and viewing for critical evaluation. Reading and viewing was also surfaced to be another area of concern. The specific components of language that students found challenging were close reading and viewing, and critical reading, viewing, and appreciation. So to inquire into the pedagogical solutions to address the areas of language learning which students found challenging, we then realized that we had to build our own knowledge bases first, our own knowledge bases, our own professionalism in these areas first. So that was when Emmeline, a master teacher and a knowledgeable other supporting our zonal NLC, mooted the idea of embarking on classroom inquiry. The rationale was that when we embark on an inquiry, we would build our knowledge bases because we would need to dive deep into the literature relevant to our areas of focus. So as we lead our school teachers, our colleagues in addressing the students' learning needs in oracy or in reading and viewing, we would then build our pedagogical leadership and mentorship. So these were compelling reasons to embark on an inquiry, and so all of us agreed to the idea. We decided to form 2 inquiry project teams, namely the oracy inquiry team and the reading inquiry team. Each member of the NLC, about 12 of us, then chose the inquiry team that we wish to join based on what we deem to be more relevant to our school's needs. Our inquiry teams were very well supported by ELIS. Each team had the support of a master teacher and a research specialist. Emmeline and Jonathan supported the oracy inquiry team, while Kalpana and Alison supported the reading inquiry team. So when we met, whether face-to-face or on Zoom, and we had questions related to pedagogy or questions related to mentoring or guiding teachers in our implementation of the intervention, we could turn to Emmeline and Kalpana. The master teachers also frequently asked us probing questions to deepen our thinking. The research specialists, Jonathan and Alison, provided us with valuable advice pertaining to the process of classroom inquiry. They also directed us to relevant articles related to our areas of inquiry. And because the inquiry team comprises teacher leaders from different schools, there were different perspectives that we had regarding the areas of inquiry. And this really enriched our collaborative dialogues. We value added to one another's learning because we offered fresh insights, we affirmed one another's contributions, we energized one another. And if there were beliefs and practices that needed to be shifted, they were also gently put across, all within a safe environment. So there was great synergy amongst the members. And like I said, this greatly energized us, although we met after school, but we always ended up feeling that we knew more than before. We had each other's for support, and we came back to class becoming a wiser person. And this really enabled our team to progress in our inquiry journey. In the next slide, you will see this teacher inquiry and knowledge building cycle. So Jonathan and Alison guided us in using Helen Timperley's teacher inquiry and knowledge building cycle. And these are the stages. I think we have heard from Dr. Doyle before. The stages of the teacher inquiry we underwent. Step 1, we started off by identifying the knowledge and skills our students needed. In step 2, we asked ourselves, what knowledge and skills do we need as teachers to help our students? After that, we took steps to deepen our professional knowledge by reading, reviewing the literature, and discussing how we could refine our skills. We also asked ourselves as teacher leaders how we could mentor and guide our colleagues with the learning we gain, so that we would be able to so that they would be able to help their students close their learning gaps. In step 4, in the next step, we planned how we would engage our students in new learning experiences in order to help our students learn the knowledge and skills they needed. And finally, in step 5, we examined the impact of our change teaching practice on our students' learning. At this juncture, I would like to invite Mala to present in more detail the learning that we gain in embarking on the oracy inquiry.